news report with what's taking place in Williamson County. I'm here in the Alamo City, and we've got people that are outside congregating at the Williamson County Jail in support of Jeremy Story, a local patriot who is the father of 7 children, who was arrested at his home today, 3 or 4 days after a school board meeting took place. And during the school board meeting, he was simply trying to gain access to the meeting. And as we witnessed, the Round Rock Independent School District police officers would not let him pass. He made attempts to go past them, not in any kind of a threatening way, and was very polite and calm. And they had a lot of conversation. And we've got Ryan Deck who's there. Ryan Deck, myself, uh, Marcy, Bonnie. We've got a bunch of folks that are there that have been working together to help get Jeremy's story out. But Ryan, let's kind of pick it up from your perspective. You're a local attorney there in Williamson County, and tell us what you found out so far. Why was this man arrested at his home 3 days after a school board meeting event?
Well, for one, I think it's important to remember that this arrest happened after he had made a complaint on Round Rock ISD police officers. So the incident happened on Tuesday, and they could have arrested him on Tuesday if, in fact, they believed they had probable cause to arrest him, which they should have. They ultimately ended up arresting him anyways, but they chose not to arrest him on Tuesday. Instead, they let him go. And then he made a complaint because he was physically assaulted, and there's actually picture proof that shows he was physically assaulted by Round Rock ISD police officers, and then they came and had him arrested. They had him arrested on Friday afternoon, and anybody in my line of work knows that when you arrest somebody on Friday afternoon, you do it so that you can't see a magistrate that time, and you have to spend the night in jail. And he has no criminal history that I know of, and he has, as you said, 7 kids, and he was arrested at his home. And they could have easily done it on any other day before Friday afternoon, and they purposely waited till Friday afternoon so he'd have to spend the night in jail.
This is really disgusting what we're seeing here. What it looks like to me, and I want to get your feel. You know, uh, my personal comment is that this looks like an abuse of power. It looks like someone is trying to make an example out of Jeremy and out of the other man that was also detained, and trying to tell other people, you better not try to stand up against, because what this man was doing. I mean, again, with you being legal counsel, and I know we're working together on trying to get Jeremy out, but how would you characterize it? That this is suspect in some ways.
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is, if a crime occurs in the presence of an officer, they're supposed to effectuate an arrest. And so this incident happened right in front of officers. And the fact that they did not arrest him and instead assaulted him, and they wait until Friday afternoon after he had filed his own complaint based on that assault. There's no other way to look at it other than it's retaliatory. There's no other way to look at it, in my opinion.
And when and law enforcement, they have rules, and most people don't realize that school districts have police arrest authority, and so they are under the same guidelines as any other peace officer in the state of Texas. Is that correct?
That's 110% correct. That's right. I mean, students get arrested all the time.
So if that's the case, and if they didn't follow police practices, and they didn't follow cleat and T-close and all of the things that good officers follow day in and day out as part of their formal training, then these officers have now opened themselves up to criticism and possible liability for not carrying out their jobs in the dutiful manner they're responsible to.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, I mean, we got to figure out what happened with that assault. I mean, there's no question that he was assaulted. And there's a multitude of witnesses that all saw it. My understanding is from the witnesses that I've spoken to, nobody thought it was justified, the officer's actions. And so there's an issue about an actual assault going the other way, too.
Now, I know that there's some people there. For those of y'all that are joining us, I know we're broadcasting this in several different locations, and we've got several actual national media outlets that are starting to share this information. But Ryan, let's turn to the crowd for just a moment, if you don't mind. And I'd like to
Yes,
just
sir.
get a couple of questions from them. For those of y'all that are there today supporting Jeremy, can I get a comment from somebody that witnessed what took place at Round Rock, or that is aware of the situation? They just make a comment about what you think is happening.
She witnessed what happened to Jeremy.
There
I
you go.
witnessed what happened to Dustin.
Okay.
So, hi.
Please tell
I
everybody
was
your
at the
name.
meeting.
Thank you.
Sorry, my name is Michelle Evans, and this is Sabrina Rexing. We were both at the meeting on Tuesday. Sabrina was outside the doors where Jeremy was, and I was inside the meeting where Dustin was.
Okay. And as you saw,
I'm sorry.
and I saw the
Okay.
video. I saw the video. I know you were there firsthand. What? How did? I mean, tell us how you saw it and how you really felt when you saw it taking place firsthand.
Well, I'll talk about Jeremy. He was very calm the entire time we were out there. He was asking questions of, why aren't you letting us inside? These are the laws, and we don't understand why you're preventing us from entering a public meeting. And he tried several times to enter, and every time the 2 police officers would use their bodies to block him. And the third time is when they got pretty physical with him. The one officer kind of shoved him with his arm, and the other officer wrapped him around the pole twice at least. And he just wanted to peacefully get in. He had his arms behind his back. He was asking very calmly. He said, I support what you do. I'm just trying to get into this meeting. Can I please pass through?
And the video that I saw, seemed like that was exactly the same thing. And it seemed like, and look, well, I know Jeremy. He's a very even-keeled individual. He's a father of 7. I've never seen him, lose control. And even in what I witnessed on the video, he never lost control in that situation where he was facing officers. It clearly had an agenda. Do you feel like the Round Rock ISD has an agenda where they're trying to tell the citizens, you better just leave us alone on this mask mandate? Because this is really what it's all about. This is all about mask mandate and some of the other stuff that was taking place there at Round Rock ISD.
And absolutely, and Jeremy has been to previous board meetings where he has stood up and questioned during public comments. And so he's known by the board members for being very vocal about this issue.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you for your time, and thank you for supporting Jeremy. If you were going to tell other Texans watching this, we'd like to encourage people to come out there and support Jeremy. Would you encourage them to come out there and support Jeremy as well?
Absolutely. We're at the Williamson County Courthouse.
Okay. Thank you. And if there's someone else that would like to speak, I would love to hear from. We got anybody else over there? How many people? How many people do you have over there? Even if they didn't witness it, if they've just got a comment.
I would say it's fair to say 30 easy.
Okay. All right. And
you have a comment or opinion? Anybody? Anybody witnessed what happened?
Or can I just have somebody comment on the school board?
Yeah, I have the whole videotape. Does he want to say something to me?
Yes.
Because I'm Facebook living this.
Okay.
Okay, so who am I talking to?
It's Weston Martinez. How are you?
This is Weston Martinez. And you are running for?
I'm running for Texas Land Commissioner, but I'm a conservative leader here in the state of. I'm running for Texas Land Commissioner.
For Texas Land Commissioner, okay.
Right. To replace George P. Bush as Texas Land Commissioner.
And so what is your question? I was there the whole time. I videotaped the whole thing. Did you have a specific question?
I do. I have several, actually. So being a conservative leader and fighting on a lot of different fronts over the years.
Okay, go ahead with your questions.
I'd like to know what kind of message do you think the school board is trying to send to citizens like Jeremy that seem to be just peacefully trying to stand up for the rights of the children.
So my impression is this is a preemptive retaliatory action they've taken tonight. I was there the whole time. Parents came peacefully. They came with their own chairs in case there weren't enough chairs in the room to facilitate everyone being able to be accommodated. And everything was very peaceful until they positioned Round Rock ISD police officers at the doors, barring entry. That's when parents got upset because that is against Texas law, the open meetings law, the state law. And board members chose to use policy and directives to use these officers to bar entry from parents who had every right to be in that room when there was tax policy being discussed and when there was the mask policy being discussed. It didn't turn ugly, if you will, until they barred entry. And even then, Jeremy's story came in and he was very specific, and I caught it on camera. He was very specific. Look, I'm putting my hands down. I'm purposely putting my hands down to enter the room as I, according to state law, have every right to do. And it was then the police officers got physical with Jeremy's story. They pushed him. I have that on camera. They grabbed him. They pushed him. They pulled him up against the wall. That's all on camera. They got physical with him. Dustin was dragged out of the meeting when he said, you know, the public should be in here according to state law since we're talking about tax increases. And he was dragged for the meeting. What's interesting is when I ran out of the meeting, which is all, again, caught on camera, Dustin had no officers around him. He was not fleeing from police. He was dragged for the meeting and then left outside, which is when I asked him what happened. And he gave his story. So this was, I believe, a preemptive authoritarian strike by officers to intimidate. They saw that Jeremy was injured. They know that they broke the law. So they decided to try and get ahead of it. This is my interpretation. They decided to try and get it ahead of it, arrest these folks on a Friday when they couldn't have bail set and keep them overnight to just discourage and intimidate. You still there? I don't know where he went. I don't know where he went. There he is. Did you hear me? You disappeared there for a moment. Oh, these lives, you never know. I don't know if you heard all that. I don't know. That's my interpretation. You had it there of what happened. He's not responding, so I think the live connection got broken. Who had this? I don't know what happened. Let me know if he comes back on.
Well done, guys. I we're good.
I'll show you.
Okay, I'm supposed to call Laura Barker, is that right?
Co-author a bill or something like that, but never call them.
Is anyone call you? So I call Laura Barker? This could be true. How'd it go?
They don't know me from Adam. I'm just telling you, try again. You're the attorney, so.
Yes, that's true, but Barker's one thing. Arnold's tricky. Arnold is, it's an intimidating call to make. I'm here to tell you. That's fair.
You've been in that place already, I'm sure, but somebody needs to help us. These guys